it works if someone will do it. Now, we said left brain engineer earlier. I can teach a left brain engineer because you have the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And the right hemisphere is where your creativity lies. It's also where divine information comes through. They did experiments with monks chanting or praying. The same part of the brain lights up, whether it's a monk, a nun, whatever religion, anyone seeking the divine, the same part of their brain lights up. Now, all spiritual information comes in on the right side. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, it comes in on the right side. So if you've seen the picture of a brain, it looks a little bit like a butt, but it's two halves, and way down there's this membrane that connects the right and the left hemispheres. It's called the corpus callosum. Now, there is a scientific way to get the information over to the left side of the brain. It's coming in the right side. Your speech centers are on the left side of the brain. So if you can't, and you're logical, you can't do anything with the information if you can't have cross communication. You can get the information over to the other side of the brain. And every time you do that, studies have shown that you create new neural pathways. There's a huge study about the plasticity of the brain going on right now. Well, you create little roads from one side to the other. And when you channel, the great master, Sanat Kumara, told me that the corpus callosum is like a map system. And before this incarnation, you were already planning to communicate with these deities. And there's actually little pathways kind of there. If you can imagine a path in the forest that has not been walked, you can barely see it. And what you want to do with the scientific method is you create like a big giant superhighway. I want to give credit to my teacher who taught me this, and her name is Dr. Lucia Capticchione, who wrote Recovery of Your Inner Child, like way back in the 70s, early 80s. She's written about 12 books, and one of them is called The Power of the Other Hand. And the way you do it, and by the way, she didn't teach me this so that I could channel angels and stuff. That just happened. But it can help you get in touch with the subpersonality, which is mainly what she was teaching about. To your inner child lives in your right brain, so you need to communicate. What you do is you write a simple question. Say you want to talk to Archangel Gabriel. Dear Gabriel, would you like to give me a message? Or something very simple. And I'll talk about the pitfalls that you want to avoid doing. I believe it's our next topic. And then you switch the pen to the other hand. Now, Gabriel, it's not going to come move your hand, okay? I've seen people in class with their eyes closed, waiting for Gabriel to come knock their hand around. No, it activates the right side of the brain, and you might get one word or two. Go ahead and write it. Now, it's important that you write a question with the dominant hand and not just think a question. When you write it with the dominant hand and then you switch the pen to the non-dominant hand, something magical happens. It's like click. It turns on the connection between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And you're going to start out very simple. One of the greatest channels of this century, in my opinion, is Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. Well, she gets up there now, and Abraham just comes and kind of takes over, and she channels for hours. When she first started, I guess she didn't have this method. She would be in meditation and feel a message. She would try to write it in the air with her nose. So please don't think that you're so not talented or whatever that you can't do it, because if a great channel like Esther Hicks, she didn't say, oh, that's not good enough method, I'm not really a channel. She just did what she could. And persistence is the key. That's why I say, give me a left brain engineer, and if they do what I ask them to do for, say, 6 weeks, they could hang up a shingle and say, I'm psychic now. Come and get your reading. Another thing I teach, do not compare your gift with anybody else's gifts. Your gift is unique. The way you channel is unique. And there's nobody in the world like you. The main thing is start very simple. Don't start off with very deep questions. Just very simple. You're making the connection. Like if you were going on your first date, you wouldn't say, hey, you want to get married? You would say, hey, let's have dinner. You might hold hands. You develop a relationship with very simple acknowledgement. And they're so excited that you want to communicate with them. And it'll just sweep you along. But the main thing, over and over and over, start simple. Now, I hear a question coming from somebody, and that is, what if I don't get anything when I put it in my non-dominant hand? Remember, it doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, your non-dominant hand is your non-dominant hand. So what if I'm not getting anything? Well, one, you're trying too hard. Just stop thinking. Make sure that you're not listening to any music that has words in it, because vocalizing activates the left side of your brain, and that's going to knock you out of it. And here's the key. Just pretend you know what they said. Just pretend. So see, that makes it playful and childish and fun. And it's not the end of the world. You'll just keep on. I desire to channel so much that I'm willing to make stuff up for just to start off. So looking at it in a playful manner. That's why you're not going to ask, is the world going to end tomorrow, or anything horrible like that. You're going to ask, would you like to have a relationship with me? And you'll get one word, and then you get another, then you get another. One of the most unique cases, which I'll never forget, I was teaching a class on channeling outside of Los Angeles, and an attorney who worked for Fox Studios came to visit her sister who was taking the class, and she had already missed one day, but she said, can my sister join us? And I'm thinking, she's an attorney, she already missed a day. Well, okay. Because I'm thinking attorneys, left brain, right? They have to be. Details, legal things. I'm telling you, that woman took to it like I've never seen. When I gave the first exercise and asked for people to stand up and share, she was on her feet like a rocket. And she got this pretty long message for her first time. It was so amazing. She was so hungry to learn. And of course, we did all the clearing exercises. And if she can do it, you can do it. How quickly do you want to channel? How quickly do you want to become very, very, very psychic? Well, I'm very psychic. I do readings. I still do it almost every day. Now, why do I do that? Because there's light beings lined up around the block for me to channel them. So what I'll do when I meet a new one, I start off with the dominant, non-dominant method. I'll say, What shall we create today? To the being that's asking me. And then boom, 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 here comes all this information. If you really want to rocket this, do it every day. It's like make an appointment. Make an appointment with the divine. They're going to say, oh, there they are. They're ready. Yes, it's 9 o'clock. Time to go. Let's give her the messages or him the messages. It is so wonderful to a light being that you honor them enough that you show up. I guarantee you they're going to show up for you.